Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about gamers keeping track of who is actively celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. So a lot of people squawking now about being put on a blacklist, but so many of those people kept blacklists themselves.
Oh yeah, we've been seeing it on comics and games or whatever. You know, people that they seem to be on the right, and they were doing whisper networks and all this other stuff. But you know, it's okay when they keep lists.
Right. So they don't like it when the tables are turned, and that's really what this whole thing is about. Is they don't like it when the tables are turned. So
They
we're going
didn't
to talk.
like it about Sweet Baby Inc. either, but that's
No, they didn't, and because Sweet Baby Inc. that list I think helped tank so many games, and studios need to be afraid of gamers. It's not even really a political thing at this point. It's just like you need to be afraid of the power of the consumer, because the consumer can make or break your company. And if enough gamers get fed up and they're like, you know what, I'm not going to support that company because you know they've got people working there that do this, that, or whatever else. They're in for a very rude awakening. And normally, and I want to be very clear, a couple things. One, neither one of us watched Charlie Kirk.
I didn't even know who he was.
I barely knew who he was. I knew of him. I've seen some clips come up, obviously, now since the murder. And you know, my opinion on this is, regardless of whether or not you agreed with him, if you condone murder and you condone political violence and you condone domestic terrorism, I mean, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing than, hey, I don't like who you voted for, or hey, I've got a different opinion on gay rights or whatever. That's a totally different thing than, hey, I'm cool with murder and I'm cool with assassination if it means I get what I want.
Yeah, I know. And I know you're really surprised by it. I'm not. To be completely honest with you, given what I've seen in the last few years, I wasn't surprised at all.
Well, again, like I said before, what was heartbreaking for me and eye-opening for me, and trust me, it's not everybody, but I did have to unfollow some people I've been friends with for a long time on Facebook, because these are people I thought that were like middle of the road Democrats, and they were even like, yeah, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. You know, sucks to be him, sucks for his family. Oh, well, maybe they shouldn't have married a Nazi. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, if you're so far gone that you think murder's cool and you're advocating, like literally advocating for more political violence, and I mean, you shouldn't even be allowed in public. I'm going to be honest. Like you're dangerous, right? So we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com and get notifications of when we post new videos out there. And also you can check out the audio version of the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, wherever you listen to podcasts. Spreading out a little bit. We're going to mansplain and womansplain.
Yeah, I was going to say, excuse me. Go ahead. So anyway.
Well, what that means is...
That means you're going to walk with a permanent limp. Anyway.
Let's talk about this. So I've seen a lot of tweets about, and good on, like, look, I'm going to say it again. I know people get pissed at me for, you know, the both side isms or whatever it is.
I don't really care if people are pissed about the both side isms, because it's true. If someone was killed on the other side, not saying that they would do that, because, you know, clearly they aren't choosing violence. But if someone was batshit enough to do it, we'd be saying the same things.
Absolutely. In this case, I mean, this is a whole nother level. This isn't just we're having a political disagreement. This is like we literally think it's cool to kill people in public. Oh my God. But I will give props to any company that has, you know, probably a mostly left-leaning staff that comes out and says, hey, murder and political assassination, yeah, those things are wrong, and we will deal with our employees.
That's because they're worried they're going to take a hit financially.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely they are. But beyond that, like, you're not making yourself look any better by openly celebrating murder and death and domestic terrorism. This is Microsoft had it. It said, we're aware of the views expressed by a small subset of our employees regarding recent events. We take matters like this very seriously, and we are currently reviewing each individual situation. Comments celebrating violence against anyone are unacceptable and do not align with our values. That's good. These companies, again, a lot of these companies are definitely left-wing. Nobody's asking you to eulogize Charlie Kirk if you didn't like him. But for God's sake, if you can't say anything nice, just keep your mouth shut. Just be like, oh, okay. That's all you got to do. But when they're actually out there like Gretchen Wieners or whatever the hell her name was over at DC Comics, and they're out there like, yeah, I hope the bullet didn't get cooties from him. That's, it's like, what the hell are you doing? And no company wants to be associated with people that think it's cool to murder people over political disagreements.
Well, only because some people probably personally think it is, but they don't want their company to take a hit.
Yeah. And that's going to segue right into this. That's going to segue right into this. Grums put it up, a link to it, but apparently Bethesda's batshit crazy. There's some devs over there. Oh my God. Yeah. And Cosmic Book News, I think, said that he talked to I think it's Matt McGloin. He said he talked to a Bethesda developer before the election in 2016. And it was very obvious they were very, very far left, and they were trying to like single him out because they thought he was like a closet Trump supporter.
Yeah,
or
I was
something.
reading it because everybody else was making fun of him and he didn't. That one guy got in his face and was like screaming at him, but he has to be a Trump supporter. And then I guess the guy said, "Well, you might want to take it outside." That he was like, kind of situation.
Yeah, but I've noticed that the terminology has changed ever since. It was since it's very cool to hate Jewish people now. And
that's what I'm saying, because then that makes them those people. So they change the terminology, but then they still are those people. They're the ones that are acting like fascists, with their celebrating murder and all this other stuff. Well, but it's okay when they do it.
I just want to put out there that murdering people whose ideology you do not believe in or with or agree with, that's kind of like the final solution, isn't it? Like, I'm just saying.
I think it's the final stage, but
well, yeah, it is. I mean, it really is. This is the final straw, I think, for a lot of people, though. I mean, there are people, and look, I want to be honest. There are a lot of people who are on the left, a lot of celebrities, a lot of politicians. We could argue if they're just saying it to say they're next. Cenk from the Young Turks, I will give him props. He's actually out there trying to dial things down a little bit and be like, look, I'm talking to people on the right and the left, and let's all agree, regardless of what you think of Charlie Kirk, let's all agree murder and political violence is bad. Because I'm like, if we can't agree on that as a country, we got some serious problems. But some people didn't get the memo. I think they think everything is online. They don't think that there are real world consequences. And again, at least I'm not asking you to eulogize the guy. I don't even know him. I don't even know. I've seen a couple of clips and that's it. But the minute we start advocating for this stuff, we're lost, man. Like, we're done. So you've got to bring it in.
There's lists.
There's a list. Yeah. So this is on Steam. So remember Sweet Baby Inc. Detected?
Yes.
So this is basically Charlie Tweets Detected. This is basically developers that have people on their staffs that won't shut the hell up about how awesome it was that this guy got murdered.
Now, to be fair, though, some of these places did step in and do something about it.
Yes. I will give you props. And I know people get pissed at me because I'm like, they're just trying to save their own necks or whatever. They're trying to sneak in some about. I 100%
agree that that's what they're doing. I mean, there's no question.
Or they're trying to sneak in, some about gun control, whatever. I don't.
Yeah, they do that too.
At this point, okay? At this point, anything that can be done to dial down the temperature, because I don't think the people on the other side, because they're surrounded by people that think like them, I don't think they have any idea how hot the temperature is getting. So anything to be done to dial down the temperature on that side, I strongly suggest you do it. I'm just saying. So yeah, they have a list of games and devs that worked on these games that said shitty things. And this guy, I think, got fired. The one dev said, I hope the shooter's name is Mario, so Luigi knows his bro got his back. And they fired him. Caravan Sandwich, which actually looked pretty cute. Like a lot of these games I'm looking at, like I know these games, I like these games, but damn, why would you do that?
But I don't know in these cases that people were fired though.
No, game social media accounts celebrated the tragedy of September 10th. I did see that, and I was actually very surprised because that didn't strike me as the kind of dev that would.
Is that why the games are 50% off, 90% off?
90% off. Destiny 2 narrative contributor reposted comparison to victim as 1940s dictator. Oh, gee, I wonder who that is. On Blue Sky, Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Oh my God!
Shocker.
Imagine that. Cultural consultant reposted comparison to victim as 1940s dictator on Blue Sky. State of Decay, Salt Sea Chronicles, Hive Swap. Some of these you look at and you look at the company and you're like, oh yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Overwatch. Blizzard's taken action though, I've heard. Various Blizzard employees have expressed celebration on Blue Sky, while Microsoft made vague reference to firings. They weren't specific as to who or what division. Well, they probably don't want to put their people on blast. I mean,
Blizzard's going to be over the top.
Yes. Yes. Again, Blizzard.
Among Us was on the list?
Yeah, that was surprising. Yeah, Blue Sky user claiming to be a dev.
Oh, okay.
Reposted a post that compared Charlie to certain German propagandists.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Is that all you got? Like, I think people, there's very thin history books.
Look, super lesbian animal.
Oh my God, super lesbian animal RPG with furries? What?
And arcade spirits that look like it came out of a Tumblr comic. Oh, shocker.
Shocker. Yeah, I hate to be that guy. Like, I'm all for indie games. I'm all for people making the kinds of games they want to see. And especially if it's a new IP. Like, I don't care. If it's a new IP, I don't care. But there is absolutely positively a certain look for gay Tumblr fanfic. Mm-hmm. I'm not wrong. There's a certain art style. If it looks like Steven Universe and has that pastel palette and the whatever, and you make sure that there's one of every kind of conceivable person in the game, it's like a Tumblr fanfic, and it is. I'd laugh though if we had a game that was it looked like a Tumblr game, but it was actually really hardcore. Faster Than Light.
Oh, Subnautica, no.
Oh, damn it, Subnautica. Music designer on Blue Sky reposted a pic that called Charlie part of the 1940s German political party. Subnautica is toast at this point, though, because I guess I was talking to Squid King because he's a huge Subnautica fan, and this company came in, bought them, and just they want to turn it into what is it? Freemium game. So with lots of DLC and shit. Perfect Tides, that looks Tumblr adjacent.
No idea.
So this is crazy.
Doom?
So, Doom. Yeah.
No.
Bethesda. Yeah, again, Bethesda, people there are crazy. And Doom was created under different circumstances. The original Doom, created under different circumstances in different time by different people. Fallout, again, Bethesda. They're basically boycotting Bethesda. Skyrim, Fallout. Now, I will give them props for this. I think this is actually pretty good, too. They're like, hey, these developers either called for the temperature to be dialed down or told people to shut the hell up. And this is Trouble in Paradise. They said, stood up for Charlie on X, support this devil. This one, which I have, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it looks like this is the most me game ever.
It reminds me almost of City Connection meets Rad Racer. Anyway,
it does, and it looks like Coral Q, the little Japanese penny racer cars. Victory Heat Rally, which I'm gonna have to. I'm pretty sure I bought that on launch, and I just haven't had a chance to play it yet. One of the few that defended Charlie on social media and stood up against the mob. Support this developer. And Lords of the Fallen. That actually doesn't surprise me at all because they were on the, if I remember correctly, they were on the receiving end of cancel culture. One of the few developers I've seen publicly rebuke people celebrating September 10th and will fire anyone who does it. Support this game.
You don't have to agree with the dude, and a lot of these places probably don't agree with him. But there's a difference between I disagree with you, but I understand you have the right to say what you want.
Yes.
That's your opinion. And, they killed him. He's dead. Let's celebrate. Get this person next. Get that person next.
That's never
There's
okay.
a big difference between the two.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to agree with him, and that's completely fine. And maybe you do agree with him. And again, that's your opinion. It's completely fine. The problem is when, you take it to a violent place where you're demanding people be, same thing happened to other people, and you're celebrating and you're dancing, and you're laughing and you're making fun of it and you're saying, do this person next to that. There's a huge difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
And that's where, because people are like with me, they're like, well, you're a libertarian, you're free speech. I'm like, I'm free speech until you get to terroristic threats. And at that point, you're crossing the line. And in a lot of ways, you could be, depending on what you say and how you say it and when you say it and who you say it to, you could be breaking the law.
No, see, I'm going to use. Here's where I am. I'm free speech, but you have to understand. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence. That's what they kept telling everybody. Gina Carano and everybody else. They're making lists. They were calling employers. They were getting people fired. They were doing all kinds of stuff because they voted for Trump or whatever. They didn't like a stupid movie, or they were covering the Amber Heard trial or whatever, and they were trying their best to go to the FBI or go to different people's employers to get them fired. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence. And that's what people are like. So you advocate and laugh about someone being killed and say about killing other people, and I think it's funny, but then you're upset when you get called out for it, or you get fired for it because you were doing something shitty, especially if you're in a position like a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or a nurse or somebody who, shouldn't even be saying that at all ever, because you work with people across the board, in medical especially.
Yeah, that actually terrifies me. I don't think we really talked about that. There are, and that is really a tipping point for me, when you've got people out there who are working as doctors and nurses and teachers and other professionals that interface with your family and could basically hold your life in their hands. And they were out there being like, yeah, this guy deserved to die. And, and the one nurse, who's a pediatric nurse, and she was like, F his kids, F his family. I'm like, oh, yeah. My God, I hope you're never called into a situation where something happens to one of his kids and you decide to just let them die because
they were talking. There were
Charlie
surgeons,
Kirk's kid,
anesthesiologists.
Yeah, they could
teachers.
kill you on the operating table. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, at this point, it is.
Oh, I saw a Republican card in their wallet. Oh well.
Exactly. This guy came into the trauma room wearing a MAGA hat, so I let him die. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, that at that point is dangerous. Dangerous ideology that you think it's totally fine to let people die.
Well, it's dangerous like that, and potentially in a life-threatening situation, because if they're that pickled, then yeah, I can understand them getting canned, because that's a liability and a half.
Somebody came into the trauma center. They were like, I don't know, they got into like a gang situation and stabbing, whatever. Or they, maybe they were, drug deal or something like that. Something most people are like, oh, that kind of sucks or whatever. You're still under moral obligation to try to save their lives, right? Mm-hmm. Not wish them dead. And anybody working in the medical profession that wishes people dead needs to have their licenses revoked. They need to get the hell out of it, and they can go go to OnlyFans or something. Yeah. I don't know. Are we gonna wrap this up?
Yes.
There we go. All right, guys. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.